If you say you're fiscally conservative, are you really? I want to talk a minute about the concept of fiscal conservatism. You see, fiscal conservatism is broken down into conservative, the idea of conserving or being thoughtful and careful about how we use things or do things, typically pushing towards doing things a certain way or going for more traditional approaches. And fiscal refers to finances, money, and using money carefully. Well, a lot of times people like to throw around this idea that they're fiscally conservative, but somebody who's fiscally conservative doesn't just look at the bottom line for the short term. They look at long term and they look at midterm as well. And what I see is a lot of people who are claiming to be fiscally conservative, not actually being fiscally conservative, but rather being physically focused on the short term look of things as opposed to long term impact. See, a true fiscal conservative invests. A true fiscal conservative understands that the short term you might be able to save money, but in the long term you're spending money. And so, therefore, people who claim to be fiscally conservative, who are all about cutting taxes and reducing spending without looking at the impact of what they're cutting, aren't actually fiscally conservative. They just like to use it as a talking point. A fiscal conservative looks at the overall impact, long term, midterm, and short term. And so a true fiscal conservative will focus on what is the long term cost going to be if we don't fund these particular things? What is the midterm cost going to be if we cut funding to these certain things? Fiscal conservatives look at data. Fiscal conservatives think that data matters, and they question and challenge anything that's just spending for spending's sake. A lot of what I'm seeing in both business and politics is people worrying about the short term without investing for the midterm and long term. And we're seeing that heavily impacting us. So, are you really fiscally conservative if you say that you're fiscally conservative? Because if the answer is that you are only worried about the bottom line in the short term, then you're not fiscally conservative. You're reckless.